But that's what really happened to Sandra and James. But please, these people are not in existence. It's actually a true life story, but these are not real names. So please don't trace it to any name. So I know Sandra met James in a wedding, and in less than 2 weeks, this guy started dating. And after a while, Sandra realized, okay, this guy has some kind of trait I cannot even stand. And that's when she realized, I think I was too fast getting into this relationship because it was just like 2 weeks and they really started dating. And this brings me to what I discussed last week on the talking stage. Take time to know these people, to know people before you decide on getting into a relationship, right? It keeps you sane, it keeps you safe, and it helps you discern between the red flags and the green flags. Hello and welcome to Gist Amara's Couch. My name is Amara Chaba and I will be host on today's episode. So what are we going to be discussing about? So the topic is why rushing into a relationship can do more harm than good. Relationship is a beautiful thing. In fact, I love it. It's so amazing. I tend to wonder why people really talk against it, and I understand that's because a lot of persons have had very crazy experiences. So most persons just tell you, you know what, I am done. I'm done with men. I am done with women. But it still doesn't erase the fact that relationship is beautiful if you stick with the right person. So for today, we'll be talking on why it's not so nice to rush into a relationship and why it can cause you a lot of harm instead of the good that relationship should bring to our lives. Right? So I know many people, especially young adults, really feel pressured into a relationship quickly. I don't know. I think maybe society expectations or loneliness, or this one can happen. There are some persons who are very scared of staying alone. They just feel once Mr. A is not working, I want to have Mr. B, right? So it looks like there's just a handful of these people packed aside. So in case one doesn't work out. So loneliness can be part of it, or even the fear of falling behind. Rushing into a relationship often leads to regret. You see, regret, it leads to it because you don't even take time to study these people. So getting in, you just realize there's some things you can't even stand, and regret begins to play its tone on you. So now, let's even explore why rushing into a relationship can do you more harm than good. Number one, you might overlook red flags when you rush into a relationship. And this would bring me to a true life case scenario that happened some times back. This not real name, so please don't even try to connect it to anybody. So let's name the lady Sandra and the other person James. So Sandra and James actually met in a wedding. I love weddings, but I get so lazy attending any, but I love to watch them. So Sandra and James met at a friend's wedding, and according to Sandra, she felt like, oh my god, this guy was really very charming, and she wanted a relationship already. So fortunately for her, James actually approached her. They exchanged contact. So they started talking, and the fire, the sparks, and the very healthy butterflies were practically everywhere. And they felt, oh, it's a nice thing to date. I think we like ourselves so much. We've been talking really very often. And in less than 2 weeks, they started dating officially. So Sandra started noticing that this guy had this very possessive kind of spirit, and his mood swings, was nothing. Like it was second to none. So before Sandra could even know what's happening, she just saw that this guy was really becoming very manipulative. And thing is, she really invested her emotions into it, which was even making it very hard for her to leave. This kind of very toxic relationship, a person is manipulative. On the other hand, on the other hand, this person feels really very sweet. So he manipulates you into thinking, okay, this is okay. Or she manipulates you because not just guys that manipulate people. So let's not make it look like this one gender that does this alone. I feel that both genders do these things. So either of the genders manipulate the other into doing things or thinking in a certain way. So when she got to this point, she just knew that, oh my god, really very hard. So I don't know if it was self-pity that was happening to Sandra at this point of her life. So the lesson here is love should never blind you to a person's pure nature. Take time to observe. I know I talked about this in the last podcast I had on the talking stage, and I said enjoy your talking stage. You don't just dive into a relationship because, oh my god, this guy is amazing or this lady is beautiful, this lady, I love how she speaks or something. Take your time to know these people, to know their tendencies before you give it a chance to date them. So the second one is you can mistake infatuation for love. Infatuation is intense. Let's be sincere. It's really very intense. I think the butterflies here are really like very healthy. I know growing up I see yellow butterflies. I think this one has this very shining yellow, right? So it's very intense, exciting, and sometimes it is overwhelming. But it's not real love, right? Real love is really very calm. Real love is easy. Like it takes us time. It builds. It keeps building. That is love. It keeps building. You don't go crazy because you're in love. It takes time to keep mounting until it gets to its peak, right? Love is a different ballgame. Probably we talk about love in a different note. But let's get back to the mistake between infatuation and love. So it is easy to feel deeply connected to someone in the early stage, but without time, right, you cannot determine if it is genuine love or just the temporary attraction. That is why they tell you, please give it time. The time we're talking about is not 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years, but let's give it time. Allow it to build up, right? You don't just feel something in 1 week, 2 weeks, and you think this is it. Allow it. Allow yourself think and breathe before you get into it. So I'll also give another scenario, or what I call it a life study here. So I'll name these people. Daniel. Yes, I like the name Daniel, but this is not real news, please. So please don't trace it. Daniel and let's see, Amara. Right? So these ones met online. Yeah, confession time. I know I've met somebody online. It's story for another day. So this was met online and instantly they just clicked. It happens to me too. Alright, let's get serious. After a couple of weeks, texting and late night calls. I know I talked about late night calls on the last episode. I said, you see late night calls. Oh my goodness. It has a way of making you think, you know what, we are dating already. Because the connection, the chemistry, and everything just makes you think this is it for us. So you must be careful. If you don't eat the food, please don't smell it. Allow that food stay on the table and just pass. I rest my case there. So the late night calls and everything, they just declared their love for each other and they stayed dating. However, after a few months, they realized they had completely different values and communication styles. What they thought was deep love was just the wrong, strong emotional high. Right? So, love is more than feeling. So, I think everybody who is still single, probably you're dating, please go and read that book by Gary Chapman on Things I Wish I Knew Before I Got Married. Please read it over and over again. I think you understand that you see this thing called love and these feelings is beyond that. There is more. Like there is more to this whole thing we feel in our tummies. Because with time, I wish you could see me with my eyes rolling. With time, that love just gets down and you just need to step on another thing that can keep you guys going. Not so you guys won't continue to love, but it gets to a time when you need to balance this thing called the feeling and when you need to balance reality. So love is more than just feelings. It is a decision built on compatibility, respect, and shared goals. So if you're just loving without shared goals, auntie, uncle, you get tired at the long run. You guys don't share any goals together. You don't even have the same aspirations. You're not even going in the same direction. There's no purpose attached to your relationship. God have mercy. you will get bored and you start feeling you are the problem. No, it's just because there are no standards for you. So it might get really very intense and boring at a very long time. So the third point is rushing can lead to emotional damage. The truth is, when you enter a relationship too quickly, you may not have fully healed from your past wounds. And that's something everybody should be very sincere to do to him or herself. Once you leave a relationship, probably in a very bad state, please take your time to heal. Take time to love yourself back. Take time to forgive yourself. So when you get into that relationship, you're not getting in as a hurt person, either coming to hurt yourself more or hurt the person you're coming into that relationship with. Because the thing is, unresolved traumas can lead to unhealthy attachments. Very unhealthy attachments. It can lead to insecurities. It can even project pain, like pains, on not just yourself, but also to your partner. So take time to heal. Take time to heal. Take time to heal. Don't just go about rebonding and putting people's lights to your lies. Because with time you get really very overwhelmed and it's going to choke you in the future. So rushing can make you hurt more. That's the conclusion of this point. I know another point would be you might end up in a wrong relationship with the wrong person. Because you just think this is it, and you get in and realize what's happening here. So if you don't take time to truly know someone, you may commit to a relationship based on surface level. And surface level is something I don't even pray for anybody. You're just getting in because you think the book is really very beautiful, or the cover is really very beautiful, or you're not even trying to check the context. So please know people deeper than just the surface level. So know people more than just the surface level. Like rushing can lead you into the wrong relationship, making it harder. I already said that, for you to walk away, because I think every person still has a conscience. So most times you just feel like, oh my goodness, I am stuck, and it takes you a lot of time and a lot of effort to leave. So instead of rushing, why not take your time? Why not take your time to think things through before you get into a relationship? So please, there's no need rushing into a relationship. Don't get pressured because you feel all my friends are in a relationship, or all my friends are married, or I'm just the only person left. I want to have something for myself. I want to have a man, or I want to have a woman, or families putting heap of fire on your head to get married. Please take your time. There's no need rushing and getting into a fire that could burn you from your head to your toe. Take time to pick your right choices. Take time to make those decisions, because this is a life decision. I don't want to get into something that would leave you broken for the rest of your life, and for the sake of the amazing people tied to your loins. So I hope this podcast speaks to somebody who probably is thinking of getting into a relationship because he or she is lonely, or you think I am of age and I want to get married. Please take your time prayerfully, and I trust God that He's going to help everybody who is seeking to have an amazing relationship. So thank you. I remain your amazing host. And in case you have questions, you can just put your questions. There's actually a link down below. You can use that to put your questions or your contributions, or just say, hi, I enjoyed this podcast. Or you can drop your questions, and trust me, it's going to be really very confidential, on gistamarascouch@gmail.com. Thank you so much for staying with us to this point. I love you.